Talk, your favourite football fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. On today's show, we're going to discuss the random target that United are going in for before the end of the window and who that could potentially be. I also want to talk about Bruno Fernandes because there's been some impressive stats that have come out recently regarding his performances and reliability. Also, Anthony criticism. Is it warranted? Is it a little bit over the top? I'll touch on that. And Marcus Rashford has been nominated for Player of the month. So we'll take a look back at his form in January so far. Before we do that, just checking before on the analytics, just for you guys. Currently, 60% of you guys who watch the content haven't subscribed to the channel yet. So if you're one of them, if you're part of that, I would say a minority, but it's not really a minority, it's 60%. If you're part of that percentage and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do on our YouTube. That's for TikTok followers and obviously the people who are tuning in on the channel as well. So if you're enjoying the content in a minute, make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, and get involved in the comment section as I go through the topics on the table. So let's start off with the big one, the random mystery signing. The names that are kind of floating around at the minute, you've got Hakim Ziyech, obviously a Chelsea player, Antoine Griezmann of Atletico Madrid, Marco Reus of Borussia Dortmund. Is that a deal that they'll do in January, or is that a deal they'll do in the winter, in the summer? Excuse me. Gravenbach, Isco, and a couple of more names. Who do you think we will go and get? Let me know in the comment section down below on TikTok and YouTube. We'll start off with, what do we need? What does United need? What do we need? We need, at a minute, I believe we need an attacking midfielder who can cover for Bruno. We've discussed this numerous times on the show. Chivy's been a big kind of pioneer for this. Someone who will give him that competition, just so he doesn't think, he's got a constant starting spot in the squad. Someone who can fill in. We know he's resilient. We know he can, he plays a lot of games, but we do need to rest Bruno Fernandes at some point. And we don't want a drop off that's too big where whoever it is who fills in for him, it's irrelevant because they're not good enough to play in that position. So we need someone of a certain level to fill in for Bruno Fernandes. And, in a sense, I have got my own little separate bit where I want to talk about Bruno Fernandes, but in his own right, it's hard to fill them boots, what he does for the team. He's so effective for us. So whoever it is who comes in, big boots to kind of fill for him. But, maybe it's someone who can fill in as an 8, a similar style to a Griezmann, Marco Reus, energetic, good ball carrier, but is also good in attacking areas as well. So maybe that's something that Eric Ten Hag will look at. We could also do with cover for the wings as well. I know we have exciting talents in Garnacho and Facundo Palestre, but in the Arsenal game in particular, when you look into the bench, you need that little bit of extra zest to bring off the bench to affect the game. And I know the bright talents. I know 1v1, your Garnacho, Palestre is very, very good, but they're going to have dips in form. They're not ones that you can bring on that can, I don't know. You just need someone who can really damage the game. Really, really damage. I think they can be them players in the next couple of years' time. But I just need that seasoned pro who can come on, can do a job. That's what we need, I believe. And could that be someone, we'll go to the first target, could that be someone like a Ziyech? Now, Ziyech, I know, isn't, he's not a lot of people's cup of tea. Some people really like him, some people don't for certain reasons. Maybe he's a bit slow off the pace. Great dribbler, great offset pieces. He's a good technician. He's just not a speedy winger. And obviously, Ten Hag has worked with him before. He likes inverted wingers. Chelsea have a lot of attacking players at the minute. So I think it could be ideal in that sense, where if you want an attacking player, maybe loan him out for game time, that could work. The only kind of sticking point on this at the minute is Graham Potter likes the player. He seems to use him quite a bit. So trying to convince Chelsea, which is a bit of a madhouse at the minute, if we're being completely honest, to let us, take a look at him, bring him over to Old Trafford to increase our chances of getting top 4. It doesn't seem like a very easy deal to do, does it? Another kind of outside shout would be Isco. I don't believe he has the quality, or the fitness or the physicality to deal with the Premier League. I think he kind of flopped in La Liga, so it's a big risk on Isco. It's similar to obviously not same talent levels because Eden Hazard was a completely different player, but similar how to Hazard kind of put on a bit of weight, didn't he, when he got to Madrid? Was a little bit relaxed on that side, wasn't taking it as serious. Isco had a similar route, and I think he's a free agent now, and he's a free agent for the reason. but it'll probably be the cheapest, which is, music to the Glazers' ears in it. So that's probably something they might go for. Shrindi in the chat in the YouTube. Hello, mate. How you doing? Hope you're doing very well. Make sure you smash the like on the YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Luke saying we can have Ziyech if you want. I take it you're a Chelsea fan, Luke. Yeah, but it's someone he's worked with before. Do you know what I mean? Like, people were writing off Sebastian Haller when he brought him to Ajax, and then look what he did, top goal scorer in the Champions League group stage. So I'm not too overly considered with that, concerned with that, if I'm being completely honest. I trust if Ten Hag gets a player now, it could be a player from the Norwegian league that we never heard about. It won't be Norwegian. Would that be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Ollie's back at the wheel. You're right, lads. Rashi. No, I don't mean that. I mean he'll probably. It'd be someone who we hadn't heard of before who will go and get, and it'd be like, right, like Malacia, for example. Remember when we signed Malacia, everyone was like, what? Who the fuck is this? Hijacked the deal, and then he's been fucking good. Jordan's asking what is the secret transfer? So for a lot of journalists at the minute, credible journalists like Fabrizio Romano's, are confirming that we're going to sign one more player before the end of the window. The names that I mentioned at the start are the ones that are being seriously linked with it. And then the talking points in a minute. Ziyech, Griezmann, Royce, Gravenbach, Isco. Now, out of the names that I've read out, it could be, it could not be one of them. It could be a random, like I just said, a random person from a different league. But they're the main names that they're looking at the minute. Marco Royce might be a deal that they do in the summer. But the other ones you might be able to get, depending on the financial kind of side of it. But we know with the Glazers, you know the situation. I don't need to get into it. Another thing to consider is who do we want? What player do we want? Not what we need, not who we're going to get, who's realistic. What do we want? That's what I want to know. From United fans, who do we want as the next loan signing? If financials, weren't such a restriction, and I'm not talking you're going to go spend £100 million or anything stupid like that. But if financials weren't a massive stumbling block, and we had a realistic of a 20 to 30 mil, let's say, for example, who would you go and get? Or who would you go and get on loan? Let me know your targets, because I'm interested. I'm interested to see. Like I said, my personal preference would be a Ziyech or a Griezmann out of the options that are on the table. But I don't think Manchester United are going to splash financials. They're really not. Also, I really like Marcus Thuram as well from a Gladbach. But again, they're probably going to want about 10 to 15 million pounds for him. So that looks more like a deal for other clubs who can get him in the summer. Because I think either his contract runs out or he'll have 6 months left and he can sign a pre-agreement. Something along the lines of that. And maybe even a name like Gravenbach, who I mentioned there, who can, probably fill in for a Casemiro or an Eriksen. Another player that Ten Hag's worked with is currently lacking game time at Bayern Munich at the minute, so could be a useful player to bring in. Look, Andy, we're in sync, Andy. We're in sync. Saying Gravenbach, if possible, on loan would be excellent. Yeah, how much is he going to charge for that loan fee? I don't think his wages are astronomical at Bayern Munich. And Ten Hag knows the player. That's the main thing. Ten Hag knows the player. But then it falls back to, what do we need more? Do we need an 8 to cover for Eriksen, Casemiro? Do we need a 10 to cover for Bruno Fernandes? Donny van der Beek's out injured till the end of the season, isn't it? Or do we need an attacking player in the wing positions? Because we've got Jadon Sancho coming back. But the senior wingers that we've got, Rashford, Antony, and Sancho, and then it's youngsters, isn't it? So if you have a couple of injuries, given our schedule that's coming up now for what have we got, a game every 3 days for the next 2 months, I think it is, something along the lines of that, which is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. If you're telling me one or two players ain't going to pick a couple of injuries up within that game, within that amount of time, impossible. Absolutely impossible. Let's see. Gibbo saying, I think Ziyech suits United. I'm a Chelsea fan, but I think he'd be good for you. Yeah, and Ten Hag knows how to utilise him. I'm sorry to constantly keep going back to that line that Ten Hag knows him. It's a player he's worked with before. But it does help. It helps. Like, he knew about Malacia because of the Eredivisie. Look how he's come in. He profiled the player. He's seen him play enough. Worked with him. Absolutely fantastic. Worked with Christian Eriksen before when Eriksen was coming back from his, I think it was when he was coming back from his heart surgery, or when he had the accident thing. He was training with Ajax. So Ten Hag had a closer look at him then. Now, granted, the other players like Casemiro, he never really thinking, but Casemiro was a bit of a given anyway when you sign him. The other two, Antony and Lisandro, he had a close look at. Look how most of the players are doing. They're doing relatively well, aren't they? So I trust in his insight. If he wants to bring Hakim Ziyech to Manchester United, I'm fine with it because it's good depth. I watched Arsenal sign Trossard, and I was like, that's a really good option to bring off the bench. Now, Trossard ain't going to go there to warm the bench. He'll be there like, I'll take your place, mate. He'll be looking at Martinelli. He'll be looking at the other attackers in that line, and he'll be like, I will take your place. And that's what I want. You want someone to come in and be like, have the, the cojones to say, mate, I'll fill in there. I'm not sitting here to be on the bench and be a little replacement player. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to play. And that's fine because the competition breeds success. So I'm absolutely fine with that. We need someone with bite who can pass the ball. Can I ask your thoughts on Harry Maguire? I mean, I don't want to talk about Maguire too much. I think he'll probably be gone in the summer. Hopefully for a 30, we can recoup about half the money for him, about £40 million. And he can go do a job. Maguire can go do a job at a back five, a team of the back five who play a little bit more pragmatic. He probably play well in the Conte system, to be honest, Harry Maguire. I think he'd flourish in that system. I think he'd look all right. But I think he'll end up going to like a Villa or just one of them teams there or thereabouts. I think he could do a good job for Palace. But he just can't really work in a direct kind of system where you're very proactive. You play high line. Just doesn't suit it at all. So anyway, we'll move on from Harry Maguire. Like I said, the couple of players that I've mentioned would be really good options. But let me know. Please do let me know who you would go and get. Wouldn't have to be on that list out of the players that I've mentioned. But let's try get creative with it. I want to see some signings, what you guys think, players you've seen from around Europe. It doesn't have to be a well-known name. Just let's get some options flowing. That's what I want to see. Also, Arsenal now in for Caicedo. That's a very interesting shout. But how much are Arsenal, realistically, how much are they going to spend on Caicedo? Because I'm pretty sure Chelsea put in a 55 million bid, didn't they? And it was like, nope, we don't want that. We want more money. So are Arsenal going to pay more than that when they was being a bit, sticky with the Mudryk price? I don't see him overpaying. I really don't. Arsenal's whole model, and one of the reasons why they've done well is because they haven't overpaid for players. Whenever they've got in a race, and some fans might not like it, they've gone, no, this is what we're paying. Similar to Man City do similar things. They'll only pay a certain amount, 50, 60 million. They're not spending ridiculous money on it. And that's the model. That's the way they work. So I don't see him going in for Caicedo and saying, we'll give you 70, 80 million. I'd be astonished if Arsenal paid that in the January window. So let's see what happens with that one. But look, he can only bolster their chances. They are going in for a title at the minute. They was going to spend decent money on Mudryk. So who knows? Who knows? Now the final one, is the last topic of this little section here. Who is the most realistic out of the ones that I've mentioned, or out of the ones that you're thinking, should I say? If we're being brutally honest, we know it's going to be a very cheap option. And as soon as I hear about cheap options, I think instantly of Isco. Isco's a free agent at the minute. You're probably looking at similar figures to the Weghorst deal, couple of million. We know the owners won't spend too much when they're selling up, so we're shopping in home and bargain at the minute. That's just how it is. Can we get a good deal? I don't know. Let's wait and see. Like I said, I kind of hope it's a player that none of us have heard about with good potential and Eric Ten Hag likes. I imagine he's probably got about 50 texts on his phone from Murta with just random players, championship level players. Like, do you want him, Eric? Do you want him, Eric? No. Swipe. Do you want him? Do you remember, like, I don't know if any of you have smoked the good old green, but do you remember when them dealers used to just text you and be like, they've got fucking Patrick Swayze Kush or lemon meringue haze, and when in actual fact, you just know for a fact it's going to be some shitty homegrown cheese. So this is what Murta's providing. He's going to give him a list of shit players to pick from, and he's going to have to deal with it. Similar to Weghorst. Now, I'm not saying Weghorst is shit. He's done all right. He's not done too bad since he's come in. But he's not the cream of the crop when it's talking about players. He weren't a Yao Felix and maybe he suits the system better. That's a discussion to have for sure. But he's not a Mudryk. He's not a Yao Felix. He's not a Trossard. It's not what these teams, I would say big teams, I need to be careful. It's not what these teams are buying. No one would have gone in for Weghorst. It's not like it was a high level competition. It was a couple of £1 million. And it was one of them. It was available. Ten Hag's watched him most of his career. You've got that Dutch connection. I'm pretty sure he was both brought up in a similar area. So it was a bit of an easy deal to do. Weghorst really wanted to come. And I don't mean in that way. Maybe he did. I don't know. I'm not sure. But he really wanted to join United. And he sees a future beyond that. It could be a second striker for us. Who knows? Gibbo, I think Kane in the summer is what you need, and I think it'll happen. The thing is, Harry Kane, though, he recently came out, or well, Ornstein, who's a very credible journalist, came out and said Harry Kane is happy to extend his contract with Spurs, which I was just like, I had to like rub my eyes and double check. I said, is he all right? Is he feeling okay? Like, I feel Conte will probably fuck off in the summer unless he wins a cup. Maybe he'll stay on if he wins a cup, but I think Conte will be gone in the summer. Son's not getting any younger. I'm pretty sure he's reaching 30 soon. So I don't know. I just don't see the future. If I pose this question to you guys, who's more likely to win a trophy now in the next couple of years and maintain top four? Is it United or is it Spurs? Even Spurs fans would probably admit that United are more likely. So if you're Harry Kane, I think it would be a disaster if he doesn't win a trophy in his career. Because I think, contrary to what Sam doesn't appreciate him as a world-class striker, but let's be serious, Harry Kane is a serious world-class striker, one of the best it's been about, especially in the Premier League. So for him to not win trophies would be a fucking disaster, man. A fucking disaster. Would you like a Aubameyang? God, no. No. Again, I'm going to use the Office meme. Everyone's seen it when he's like, no, God, no. No, keep Aubameyang away from my club, man. Don't want that. He's not exactly pulled up trees at fucking Chelsea, has it? Ex-Arsenal player, bad attitude problems. No, stay. The only reason why Chelsea signed Aubameyang was because Tuchel was there. And obviously Tuchel's worked with him at Dortmund. So, no, I don't want Aubameyang anywhere near my fucking club. So, let's see what happens with this mystery transfer. It's currently the Thursday, the 26th of January. So, we've got, what have we got left? 5 days. 5 days left. I'm telling you now, it's going to be the last couple of hours. It'll be similar to an Igalo, that kind of level of player who will come in and there'll just be another stopgap and thing. But it's interesting. What I'll do is I'll put a poll out on the YouTube so the community can get involved. Relatively quiet in there today. So let's start a poll and let's see what people think. What mystery striker will we go for? I'll put 3 viable options in there. Mystery, no, not striker. Let's just say player. I don't know why I put striker. Let's go mystery player. And we'll see what the community think. Right, who's the more realistic one? So Isco, I don't want Isco, but he's a free agent. He stinks at United. Seems like it's going to happen. I don't know why my camera angle's doing that. Let me sort that out. Apologies for that. Who's the other name? Ziyech. Add another option. Who else did I mention? Griezmann. I don't think that's realistic. It's a name that's being mentioned. I'll go Royce. And then I'll add other. And let's see what the community thinks. So let me know. Smash a like on the video, by the way. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, because I am doing a live on both for people at TikTok, if you don't know. And yeah, let's see what people think with that. We'll part that discussion for now. I'll come back to that poll near the end of the show. And yeah, I'll move it on to the next topic. I want to talk a little bit about Bruno Fernandes and some of his stats whilst he's been here. I saw a couple last night. You're scrolling through Twitter after the game. You're looking at stats. You're looking at highlights, etc. And I came across a couple that were pretty fucking impressive. So Bruno Fernandes, you ready for this? Bruno Fernandes has only missed 14 days through injury since 2016, 2017. That's from the transfer market on Twitter. That's what he put out last night. That is an incredible record for 7 years worth of football games. And people might look at that saying, that's not a stat. It's not goals. It's not assists. It's not creating chances. Even if you go look at them stats, which I'm going to get into in a second, incredible. But honestly, his sustainability at the top level, how rarely he gets injured is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Another astonishing record he's got since Bruno Fernandes, since 2017 to 18, 235 goals and assists. Now, I don't mean 235 goals, 235 assists. I mean, together, he's got 235 goals and assists, which is fucking insane as well. Like, people call him a stat padder. That's what he was getting called at Sporting Lisbon when he came into United, putting in, incredible numbers. And that's what the FIFA kids were kind of resonating with, wasn't it? Who only cared about his goals and assists, and they'll say he's dropped off the face of an earth. He's not the same player anymore, and he's not playing as good as he was under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I actually believe his game has become probably even more refined under Erik ten Hag at the minute. He holds so much importance to the team and everything that we do. His work rate, his energy off the ball is absolutely ridiculous. He's always available for selection, regardless of how many games he's played in a row, which is invaluable at this level. There's a couple of things in his game which I'm not a massive fan of. His temper at times can be annoying, especially if we're losing. We're trying to get back into the game, and he's busy waffling shite to the official about a pulled shirt that didn't get given as a foul. Composure at times when he's overdoing it with creativity, and he can go missing in big games. Now, that's a couple of the criticisms, that we've had of Bruno Fernandes. But a big game of late where he showed up against City, thought he had a decent performance. There's improvements being made. He's the captain now, whether people like it or not. You know, the way Ten Hag's handled that situation since he's come in, I really liked it because he's not fed into the media where he's like, yeah, I'm going to drop Harry Maguire as the captain and it's going to be Bruno. He's not done it like that. You'd be stupid to do it like that anyway. But the way he's done it is just said to Maguire, yeah, when you play, you'll be the captain. So you're still the captain just when you play. But he's never played him. So it's like Maguire sat there scratching his head thinking, oh, he's done me there, hasn't he? It's what I thought, oh no, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So since Bruno's come in as the captain, I think he's done really well, man. I think he's done really, really well. We know Harry Maguire was never the real captain. You expect real levels of consistency from a club captain, especially at Manchester United. And if you just look at the level Bruno maintains, his availability, his consistency, he's proven that. Ten Hag trust him to deliver. He trusts him to deliver. And hopefully, I'm hoping we can lift the trophy this season and I hope he can lift it. I don't think Harry Maguire should lift it. I don't think that'd sit very well with the fans. Maybe they'll lift it together, but I think Bruno Fernandes, he deserves it because he puts in the work and he demands. That's what you want from a captain. Maguire was kind of the opposite. He didn't really trust him. He felt a bit risky whenever he was in a game. And yeah, let's hope he can get a trophy under his belt because we remember the devastation of the Europa League final. That destroyed the confidence. All the semi-finals under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that we lost, but we won 3-0 last night. We're probably going to be in the final, aren't we? Unless something mental happens. So a very good opportunity to win a trophy. Ten Hag's first trophy of the year, and Bruno's. Would it be? Yeah, Bruno's first trophy. Yeah, Bruno Fernandes' first trophy as well, which is well deserved. Again, if you look at what he's done for the club. Golden saying Wan-Bissaka or Dalot. I mean, it's a fucking interesting question at the minute, isn't it? It really is. We said that on the review last night on the game. Like, given how Wan-Bissaka's performing at the minute, it's like he's come back from the dead. He's playing really well, offensively as well. Who would have thought it? Wan-Bissaka had an offensive game because everyone's criticism of him was not good enough going forward. Can't put crosses into the box. First touch, he's like Bambi on ice. But 1v1, he's really good at tackling. That was his main thing, wasn't it? Anytime he played against Sterling or tricky wingers, Mbappe in Champions League did really well. But then he just completely negated your attack whenever we had a transition because he's not that great on the ball. Whatever Eric Ten Hag's done again, that magic Ten Hag juju, innit? He's just like got him performing again. Now, if I'm Diego Dallo and I'm coming back into that side, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, hey, this ain't going to be easy to get back into the squad because he's playing well. And the thing is with Wan-Bissaka as well, because he's got that defensive core naturally, if he can keep improving going forward, it's weird, isn't it? It's mad. But I do still think Dalot, it's hard. It's definitely a discussion. It's definitely a debate to have. And it's a great question from Golden, but I don't know. I'll leave it again. The comments say, let's do another poll. Let's do another poll. So 25% have gone for Ziyech in terms of the mystery player. 25% have gone for Marco Reus. And 50% have gone for other. So very split. It's very split at the minute. Let's end that one. And we'll do, I want to see who would start. I know it might be a bit of a premature question, but let's just see what people think because I'm very interested. So there you go. Let's see what the community is saying. Obviously, get involved in TikTok as well if you wanna get involved, or jump over to the YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Diego Dalot or Wan-Bissaka starting right back. Let's see if anyone goes for Wan-Bissaka. I'm interested. Very good question. That keep the questions coming in. Keep them coming in. So Bruno Fernandes, yeah, doing very well at the minute. He's obviously our captain. Ten Hag's made him. If Eric Ten Hag makes you captain, you've obviously got good pedigree about you, and you've got something about you. And he holds a very significant. Is that a word? A very significant. Very significant. I don't even know. He holds importance to the squad. Let's be honest, he does. And I know he has his hot and cold games, and he's got a bit of a temper, but He's doing well. I feel like he's progressing at the minute. His start of the season wasn't great, but he's slowly going like that. Steady progression at the minute. Maguire or Smalling? Smalling. Yeah. Let's move on from Maguire. I don't want to keep talking about Harry Maguire. Another player though I wanted to chat about was Anthony. Anthony, talk to me about Anthony, people, because this has been a hot topic at the minute. This has been a big debate. It's been under the microscope because of his price tag. Someone, like I said, who's received a lot of criticism recently, and a lot of it coming from rival fans as well. And you kind of expect that because, you know, the people that were giving, a lot of people were giving City shit about Jack Grealish. They're going to do the same with Mudryk if he falls off the boil a little bit. It's just part and parcel of the price tag, unfortunately. Last night, I was going back and forth with a few fans on the watch along, still saying he's not good enough, still adamant, not convinced by him, which I understand and I respect. I see it in certain aspects of his game for sure. But one thing I am absolutely fully convinced about was there was a definite improvement on his performance last night in comparison to the past couple of games. Ten Hag said in his press conference, Anthony had a very good game. He was a threat. He was good between the lines, good verticality, good plays. He should have scored following a good combination. And the last bit I resonated with, he had 3 really good chances. One led to a goal for Weghorst. So he's getting in the right positions and he's starting to be more direct, which is what we wanted, right? This is what everyone's asking for. So if when he does it and he still get people like, no, don't know about, he's a fidget spinner. That Bouvet, for everyone knows what I'm talking about. That Bouvet, who's the Man City fan, who just, I know he says shit a lot of the time just to troll people, but he's just like, he's a fidget spinner. I can't believe he spent that much money. Mate, you did the same thing with Grealish. Grealish has got what? I know the game isn't all about stats, but how many goals has Grealish got this season? 2, 3? Is it something? How many did he get last season? He wins fouls. He's a foul merchant, Jack Grealish. That's all he is. I don't care. Does all right, good dribbler, but he ain't £100 million player himself. So how can he sit there and be like, they paid £100 million for a fidget spinner? Like, the guy's been here fucking 6 months barely, if that. You know what I'm saying? He's still got 6 goals and a couple of assists. So he's not done too bad in hindsight. I think Jadon Sancho's first season, he only scored 3 goals. So, yeah, I thought his performance was okay last night. He carried the ball really well, composed in his passing, link-up play, combination play was good. And, of course, like I said, there's areas to improve on. Absolutely. But I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he has got a lot of potential. And yeah, I trust Ten Hag as a player he really wanted to bring in. And he's important for our tactical side as well. He holds that width on the right-hand side. Ten Hag likes his inverted wingers for the underlapping runs, etc. So, he's an important player, man. I feel like people need to get behind him. Golden says, Anthony's a great player, no doubt. Just needs the right training, I think. Yeah, that's a smart comment. Kane to United, I hope. Let's see. Kante or Casemiro? Casemiro. I mean, it's a close one. Both of them in the prime. It's a very close one, but yeah. Oh, we've had, is it 50-50? Someone's gone for Wan-Bissaka. Well, a couple of people. So in the poll, I put up before, starting right back, Diego Dalot or Wan-Bissaka, 50-50% at the minute. Sam saying Dalot, Wan-Bissaka is a great rotational option now, though, because of his redemption. Yeah, we all wrote him off, didn't we? And let's be honest, I'd be very surprised if there was videos a couple of months ago where they were saying Wan-Bissaka could have a future career at Manchester United, maybe even being a starting right back. I'd be very, very surprised because he wasn't playing at all. People had written him off. But like Ten Hag does, he brings players back from the dead at times, doesn't he? So, yeah, buzzing with Wan-Bissaka's resurgence. I'm sticking with the theme of resurgence. Let me talk about Marcus Rashford again. I'm not going to stop talking about this guy. I'm really not. He's been nominated for Player of the Month January alongside Dan Burn, Saka, Johnson, Mahrez, Sully March, and a keeper. Who was it? David Raya, I think it was. David Raya. All worthy nominations, of course. I'm going to be slightly biased with Rashford, but the ones that have been mentioned, you know, there's shouts for all of them. So let's take a look at Rashford's stats in January in all competitions. So I know it's the Premier League Player of the Month, but I'm just saying in January overall, let's have a look at what he's done. So 1 goal against Bournemouth, 1 goal, 2 assists against Everton, 2 goals against Charlton, 1 goal against Man City, didn't score against Palace, but scored against Arsenal and scored against Nottingham Forest. That's in January so far. Obviously, I know he scored against Wolves, but that was, I think it was New Year's Eve. Was it? That's it. If it was New Year's Day, then apologies. Wolves, he scored against them, but I'm pretty sure it was New Year's Eve or just before it. 7 goals in total with still one more game against Reading in the FA Cup, which he might not play. But it's still an astonishing record. And when you just filter it out to the Premier League, it's 3 goals in 4 games. So do we think Marcus Rashford could win Player of the Month? Do you think he's in with a shoe-in? Or do you think the other players that are in that list, might just beat him to it? But it's not just the stats that are impressive. It's not just the stats that are impressive. It's the goals he's scoring as well, the magnitude of him, the big goals in the big games, Arsenal, Man City. He's a big game player as well. It's sometimes the stats don't tell the full story. So let's get a quick drink. Merv saying Rashford 1 season wonder in how many seasons? What? Thoughts on Palestra? I don't know if that's how you spell it. Palestra, good cameo. Yeah. The ones that he's had the past, I don't know. What we saying? The past, he's had 10 minutes for Charlton, 20 minutes, 15 minutes last night. He's looked direct, was involved technically in the goal last night. Bruno's last goal in the 90th minute. I think he's looked good, man. I think he's looked good, but these players are young. You can't really rely on them. Do you know what I mean? So Saka, big game player too. Yeah, look. I'm not absolutely not denying Bukayo Saka. He's been fucking unreal for Arsenal, and he's had as much as people as the clip they might have seen him in the watch along where I'm calling him a prick. I literally just say it in the heat of the moment. That's all it was. It was just because I was fuming. He did Rashford celebration. You know what I mean? But if we're being honest, Saka is in with a good shout for it. He's one of the best wingers on form in Europe at the minute. But I think Rashford is as well. I think they've both got very equal stats. So it'll be interesting to see who they go with. But because Arsenal are in that title charge at the minute, they'll probably lean more towards that. Which actually, before I carry on Marcus Rashford, let's talk about the managers that have been voted for managers of the month. Have you guys seen this? Who have been voted? So I think Thomas Frank was in there from Brentford. Mikel Arteta was in there. Steve Cooper was in from Nottingham Forest. And there was a couple others. I can't remember who else was in it. Eric Ten Hag was not in it. I'm scratching my head thinking, not even nominated. I'm not saying he deserves a given award because, again, other managers have done really well, but you're not putting Eric Ten Hag in Manager of the Month, as a nomination, when he's had to play with a stringy squad 3 days, every 3 days, certain players being suspended, injured, winning every game virtually apart from the Arsenal game. The Arsenal game's the only one he's lost. And that's going back to Fulham. That was before the World Cup. He's only lost one. And you're not even considering him. I felt like just doing you know what Roy Keane did to Jamie when he didn't put Giggs in his team? Jamie, really? I was just scratching my head thinking, that's a fucking liberty, that. What a liberty. Joke, man. Proper pissed me off, that. But it just reminded me of it then. Just remember to pick it up. Irving Chris, Anti's a great player, no doubt. Love the support. Love that. Shah Sam, thoughts on Rashford contract situation right now? Yeah, you just brought me back to my point. Thank you for that segue, Shah Sam. So just discussing Rashford, his potential to win Player of the Month. And then obviously, I said his goal scoring ability before I went on my little rant. The goals that he's been scoring, the one against Arsenal, goal of the month contender for me, straight up. His link-up play, smelling of danger in the box has been fantastic as well. So the nomination is fully deserved, and he's completely revived his career. And for me, that is one of the reasons, when it goes to your comments, Shah Sam, about his contract situation, it's pivotal. It's pivotal that you get him signed up. Obviously, don't throw ridiculous money at it. You're trying to keep it within the 300k realms. I think Casemiro's on 300k. Jadon Sancho's on 350. De Gea's on 375, but he's probably going to take a wage cut. So Martial's on 250. So Rashford's probably around that ballpark, and he's talking about 300 grand a week for Marcus. And he's our most important player at the minute. He's from Manchester. He gets it. He knows what the club's about. And then I've seen Romano reporting that Eric Ten Hag behind closed doors is working really hard to get this done because he knows the importance. If Manchester United lost out on Rashford, it'd be a disaster. If he went to another club, it'd be an absolute disaster. And that's contrary to what people might have thought a year ago after last season. A lot of people were saying it's selling to PSG. I am on record, by the way, on camera, saying I would not sell him. I still trust him. I think he can come back. Said a similar thing with Luke Shaw as well. A few of us said it on the channel. And one thing with Rashford as well, one thing that Sam mentioned on the preview last night was his physicality and his body language. He's shrugging a lot of players off now with his strength. He's not that weedy kind of character anymore where he struggles running at players. His decision making is much better. He's more confident in his movement. He's so much more direct. And when you add that to the talent that Marcus Rashford possesses, you get an absolute world beater, don't you? Absolute world beater. You've heard the likes of Casemiro, Varane, Bruno, and many other top-level players say that he could be one of the best in the world. If he stays on this trajectory, does it on a consistent basis, no one can chat to me if he does this for a full season. He ain't not considered with the top ones. He's not there yet, but if he continues on this path that he's going, he can get there. He can get there. Even listening to all the England players, I remember what they was talking about at the World Cup, and he was all discussing, the hardest player in the Rondo, who does the best, who's got the quickest feet. And they all say Rashford. They all talk about Marcus, how good he is. Declan Rice, Henderson, loads of him talking about it. So the potential's there. He's not even potential anymore, is it? Let's be clear. He's 25 years old. But the potential is there and mean for that world-class bracket. You know what I mean? When you're talking about, Mbappe's, your Neymar's, all them kind of guys, he'll become in that kind of category. And he's getting there. He's on the right path. And I think Ten Hag's the perfect man to see it. It's great to see. He's carrying us in certain games with these goals. So definitely a strong contender for player of the month. But it will be tough because others on the list have been really good as well. Saka, like I said, sensational for Arsenal. Dan Burn, by the way, someone who's really gone under the radar for Newcastle. If you look at their defensive clean sheet, it's ridiculous. The best in the league. Their defensive, Trippier, Dan Burn, Nick Pope, they've been really, really good. Really good. Rock solid defense for Newcastle. Mahrez hitting form for City as well. So lots of competition to compete with. And it's gonna. I don't think he'll win it. I think Saka might get it, if I'm being honest, just because of the position that Arsenal are in. How good he's playing as well. It's tough. It's tough. But I think he's in with a shout with it. Likewise, like Eric Ten Hag should be in a shout with Manager of the Month. Why he's not there, I have no idea whatsoever. It's a strange one, that. Sam saying Casemiro said he's one of the best. That says it all for me. Yeah, world-class, recognised world-class, right? He's a talent. And he's being nurtured right now. He's getting the right coaching. I feel like a lot of these players have been deprived of coaching for the past 3.5 years. Obviously, when Ragnick came in, it didn't do what we all thought he would. Everything he said off the pitch, and I believe, building of clubs is really good. Coaching wasn't the best, but again, didn't have a pre-season, was tough at times. You're coming into a season where everything's deflated, the dressing room's toxic. So yeah, these players have just had 3 years of no confidence, playing in a negative style, waiting to hit people on the counter attack, which worked in set big games, but there's no sustainability in that. You look at what Arteta's doing at Arsenal, as much as it kills me to say. You look what Pep Guardiola's doing at Man City. There's a long-term vision there. There was never a long-term vision, really, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because there was no progressive play in the big games. It was always hit him on the counter-attack. And I know Fergie did that at times when he was in charge, but the game's changing a lot now. I believe it's changing. So, yeah, I feel like Ten Hag's the perfect man at the minute. And long may it continue. And long may Rashford continue. Hopefully he signs that big contract, because he's one of our best players at the minute. He's one of our most important players, and we need to time down. When that'll happen, fuck knows. No idea. Absolutely no idea. But it's interesting to see. It all kind of ties into one, doesn't it? Because this season now, we've got 5 months left, and there's a lot of fucking games. So many games to play. Big ones as well. We're talking Barcelona in Europa League. You're talking finals in the Carabao Cup. God knows how far we'll advance in the FA Cup. Top 4 seems to be, in our favour at the minute, but we're only 3 points ahead of Spurs. If we start picking up a couple of injuries, it could go tits. It could go really well, or it could go tits up. That's the only thing with it. Unfortunately, I'll get into a few more of your comments, and then we'll head off. He will get his name in the hat in February. I've seen others doing Rashford so-called celebrations. That started years ago. We just got trolls basically in the comment section. I'm not listening to the trolls. Think the new owners are going to be the tipping point for the players staying. Well, you know what? I'm really glad you've put that in, Sam. That's a great point you've mentioned there, because maybe these people are waiting for the new owners to come in for the contract to see, they'll offer me better money. I don't know. This is just conspiracy. I have no idea. I'm not speaking for the players, of course not. But maybe they're just waiting to see the landscape. Because why would you sign a long-term deal, let's say 5-year contract, if you don't even know who's taking over the club? You know what I mean? You could have a situation where you have a Todd Bowley come in who's trigger happy in the transfer market, start spending fucking millions and millions on random players from whoever, basically just getting into transfer wars with other clubs. And then the team's a whole mess again. So it's weird. It's a weird situation to tie yourself long term to a deal when you don't know what the future is. It's weird. I remember there was a situation under, who was it now? I don't know if it's Mourinho, when there was a couple of players who were up for contracts, and he was talking, saying, "Well, we don't know if Mourinho's going to stay. You don't know who's going to come in as a new manager." And there was talks around that situation at the time. And it's similar things happening now, but it's with important players. David De Gea, you know, one of the most credible players in our team at the minute, been here for the past 10, 12 years, whatever it's been. Longer, I think. Yeah, I think it's been a bit longer than that. Marcus Rashford, David De Gea, two mega, mega important players for us. So that's contracts we need to sort. And I think De Gea is willing to take a pay cut, which is nice. But there's still a couple of question marks around David De Gea for me. But it's not the absolute priority at the minute, the goalkeeper situation. Striker getting a number 9 in definitely is. Quite light in attack, maybe another winger. I think Ericsson in the big games goes missing at times. I feel like we need a more physical, not necessarily physical, like strong, but a more, I feel like Frankie de Jong. Everyone knows my ties with de Jong. Frankie de Jong in the midfield. And then if Maguire goes, you're going to need to get yourself a centre back. The right back and the left back situation are absolutely fine with them in it. I'm happy with Malacia and Luke Shaw competing on them sides, and then Wan-Bissaka and Dalot competing on the right hand side. And then the keeper situation, there's lots of smoke about Diogo Costa, the Portuguese goalkeeper. So maybe they're looking at him as well. But we'll just see what happens in summer. There's going to be a lot of money spent. Not as much as we would have wanted because of the UEFA regulations. But if we get top 4, that'll help. And if we sell well, that'll help. So if we can get good money for Maguire, maybe good money for McTominay to Newcastle, 40 mil, you could potentially recruit 80 million for them to, if you sell really well, which we don't do. We'd probably end up with 50 million, 25 for both. But you can get 80 million for McTominay and Maguire, which I don't think we'd be able to do. But if we did, that's a De Jong. So it's just about boxing clever, which they're going to have to do in the summer for sure. Hello, mate. It's Xavi Simmons, the GOAT. Just changed my name. Yeah, man. How you doing? Regular in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Jack is in the chat as well. I think he's a Tottenham fan. Spurs don't win trophies, apparently. That's what they're saying. So, yeah, let me know in the comment section. Just to round up very quickly, we were talking about the mystery striker at the start, or the mystery player who we're going to get in January, because there will be one more signing before the end of the window. That's what Romano's saying. That's what credible journalists are saying. So who do we think that'll be? Will it be a Ziyech? Will it be a Griezmann? Will we go out and get someone like that, spend heavy money? I seriously doubt it. Will it be a Gravenbach? Will it be an Isco? Probably someone around that ilk, free agent, cheap as fuck, Weghorst money, that kind of things. That's what's going to happen in it. Ultimately, that's what I feel like is going to happen. If by the way, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do smash a like on the video. We're trying to push it to 1,100 subs. So if you can do that, help us achieve that. Click that red button. That'd be absolutely amazing. We will have a live preview tomorrow for the game, Reading in the FA Cup. Of course, there'll be a few of us on for that. So come and grab a drink and get in the comment section. And then Saturday, game day. And then Sunday, we've got the Sunday social show. So we've got content every single day. Mystery transfer striker. Let me know who you think it is. And as always, interact with us on Instagram. Check us out on TikTok, which I'm live on now currently. And check us out on Twitter for regular news updates. Constantly active on everything. And we're trying to get more and more, push more and more content out there. And the channel's getting better in general. It's getting better and better and better. And that's because of you guys and the community that's growing and getting bigger and bigger. So thank you very much for that. We'll be live tomorrow, 7 o'clock. YouTube community, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate every single one of you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe if there's any news that breaks tonight or tomorrow morning, we'll go live for it, especially if it's transfer news, anything surrounding that, or if it's something to do with the ownership, we'll go live for. So keep an eye out for that. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And I'll be live on TikTok as well. So YouTube community, see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Peace.